This is the AEW Dynamite November 13th, 2024 full show results video which takes place at Bridgeport, Connecticut's Total Mortgage Arena. The show started with a match between Hangman Adam Page and Christian Cage vs Bang Bang Gang, Switchblade Jay White and Rock Hard Juice Robinson. In the end, we saw that Juice Robinson countered the Deadeye into a sunset flip, but Mother Wayne distracts the referee long enough for Hangman to kick out. Kip Sabian brains Juice with the contract, and then Adam Page hit the Deadeye on Juice Robinson, and that was enough for Hangman Page and Christian Cage to win the match by pinfall. Renee Paquette is backstage looking to interview Mercedes Moné, and she's upset at having to defend her title against Kris Statlander and blames Camille's inability to drive for the incident last week before berating her for dropping her expensive jacket. Mercedes says she's not afraid if Kris, and Stat appears in the hallway behind her, and of course Moné runs scared. Camille delays Kris long enough for Mercedes to try and clobber her. They brawl and Kris Statlander shoves them both through the damn wall. Back from the commercial, Osprey makes his entrance for an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone. He says there's a lot of questions he needs answers for, but he was interrupted by Kyle Fletcher. He says Don Callis and the family begged him not to come out here by himself, but he had to prove to Will that, unlike him, he's not a coward. Weeks ago he called him out face to face, and Osprey'd rather sit at home and lick his wounds. But remember, the family is never far behind, so lay a finger on him and he'll send you home for a lot longer than 3 weeks. Will says he knows he's got something in his back pocket to even the odds, so get rid of it so they can talk, and Fletcher obliges and pulls a screwdriver at his pocket and throws it into the ring, whereupon Osprey throws it to the floor. Will says he's upset at a man he considered a brother turning on him, and he talks about how he supported Kyle and Mark Davis. He says Fletcher knows where he lives, where he trains, where his son goes to school, and that frightens both him and his missus, so he wants answers from Kyle's mouth. Fletcher says Don Callis opened his eyes to the truth that everything Will does is all about Will Osprey, and he wanted to keep him under his wing so he would do his dirty work, so he'd succeed, but never as much as Osprey did. He calls Will selfish and a hypocrite, and Osprey tells him to pick a lane. Is he nothing like him, or is he just another Osprey clone? Will owns it. He admits he stabbed Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega both in the back, and talks about how he's won titles everywhere he's gone, and asks what Kyle has done. Not Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher himself, and he'll tell him what he's done. He saw it all, lad, and Kyle tells him he's going to surpass him in every single accomplishment he's had and will had, and he'll prove it at Full Gear, live on pay-per-view, Kyle Fletcher vs Will Osprey. Osprey accepts the challenge, and he admits he's lost strength and feeling in his arm and can't feel his son hold his hand, and says Fletcher's taken a small piece from him and he'll take it back at Full Gear. Kyle says if he thinks the Tiger Driver and the screwdriver to the back of the head was bad, at Full Gear he's coming for everything. But first we'll find out what condition he arrives at Full Gear in, and Lance Archer and Brian Cage appear in the ring. Osprey says he brought some friends too, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs and Mark Dunkzilla Davis appear to back him up, and a brawl breaks up. Davis and Fletcher square up and Will takes Kyle out. Brawling around the ring, Lance Archer stands tall and he's got a match coming up. Roderick Strong blindsides him with a kendo stick, and referee Rick Knox appears to call for the bell since it's a false count anywhere, so Roderick Strong vs Lance Archer started. In the end, we saw that Taven gets thrown off a barricade and into a pile of security, and Roddy blasts Lance in the face with a chair, staggering him, and then hits a jumping knee to defeat Lance Archer by pinfall. We see Maxwell Jacob Friedman watching somewhere, a sly smile on his face despite this being Roderick Strong's third and final victory to earn a match against him at Full Gear. Post-match, Roddy gets on the mic and tells MJF that he's gonna finish his ass at Full Gear, but Konosuke Takeshita blindsides him and beats him down, but Adam Cole makes the save. The next match happened between Adam Cole vs Konosuke Takeshita, and the result of this match was Konosuke Takeshita defeated Adam Cole by pinfall with a lateral press when Takeshita clocked Adam in the face by Dynamite Diamond Ring without the referee seeing. MJF laughs and laughs at the sight of Adam Cole losing, and Takeshita takes aim at Roderick Strong, but Kyle O'Reilly saves his buddy. Ricochet comes to the stage and lays Konosuke out with a boot before grabbing the AEW International Championship and holding it high. O'Reilly helps Strong to his feet as Cole gets himself together as well. Adam offers a hand, but Kyle ain't shaking it and he leaves. A truck rolls up into the loading dock and Marina Schaffer, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta all get out. Back from the commercial, Renee Paquette interviews Bobby Lashley in the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP cuts her off and asks where she got her journalism degree and takes over the interview, putting Lashley over and talking up that he may just end Shane Swerve Strickland's career. Death Riders make their entrance by shoving JD Drake out through the entrance, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta beating the blue-collar badass down. Jon Moxley gets on the mic and talks about how Orange Cassidy has the chance of a lifetime, his fans, friends, and peers depending on him, the pressure mounting, and he's cool as a cucumber, so he has to make an example of Orange at Full Gear. He's going to brutalize him, and everyone who thinks they want to be a contender will run and hide, and they'll continue doing what they like, since he'll have the AEW World Championship. Orange Cassidy comes, followed shortly after by Mark Briscoe and Rocky Romero, and Cassidy says he wanted to come out here and let Jon know that he agrees with him and believes that he's gonna do all these things he says he'll do. It's because of what's in that briefcase and holds the symbol that represents AEW, everyone in it, and everything professional wrestling can be. It's the power, and he holds the AEW World Championship, and they could fight all over this building, in the parking lot, in catering, but to win that title you have to wrestle, and for a guy who doesn't like wrestling he's pretty damn good at it, and he's beaten Moxley before, so at Full Gear he's going to beat him again, and he'll take the power back. A few years ago Moxley said everybody else was playing checkers and they were playing chess, and there's one more pawn he has to get rid of it, and next week, he'll wrestle Wheeler Yuta, and capture the pawn that lets him take the king. Jon says we'll see if Orange has the guts to pull the trigger on someone he thinks is a friend, and until then he's got one message for anyone who wants what he has: abandon all hope. Death Riders go to leave and Darby Allin jumps off a balcony and takes him down, and the conglomeration are in it too. We see Moxley and Schaffer getting in the truck and leaving, and Claudio gets to the truck before they speed off. Yuta nowhere to be seen, but Darby jumps in the back of the truck. Castagnoli picks him up and throws him into a loading door before swinging him into the loading door and running off to get back in the truck, and Wheeler finally arrives and jumps in the back, and Death Riders drive off. Renee Paquette interviews the Learning Tree backstage, and Big Bill talks about a person finding their true self in hardship and challenge, and Chris Jericho says he has a soft spot for Tomohiro Ishii, going back to their days working together for Genichiro Tenryu in War. Of course he was a big tough main eventer and Ishii was a young boy getting his coffee. He accepts the challenge and talks about their last match and how fond he is of it, and he's going to invoke the glory of great ROH champions of the past, like Jay Briscoe. The next match happened between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Penelope Ford, and the result of this match was Britt Baker defeated Penelope Ford by submission with lockjaw. Post-match, Serena Deeb comes to the stage for a stare-down with Britt Baker. Renee Paquette interviews Mina Shirakawa backstage, and she says she misses Mariah May so much and she's looking forward to seeing her wrestle and then having a big champagne celebration. Harley Cameron rolls up and takes the champagne glass from her and downs it, saying some people say Mina is the Harley Cameron of Japan, but she's the Harley Cameron of Harley Cameron, and then they book a match for Collision and jiggle their tits at each other. Okay, sure. The next match happened between Lio Rush versus Shane Swerve Strickland, and the result of this match was Shane Strickland defeated Lio Rush by pinfall with big pressure. Post-match, Strickland gets on the mic and says everybody has the bright idea to try and come for him and use his name and his equity and his accolades to prove a point. Lio Rush just tried and failed. A couple weeks ago, Shelton Benjamin got laid down too. Seems like he's gonna have to remind a lot of people whose house it is, and that leads him to Bobby Lashley. 1 week from Saturday they got Full Gear, but he thinks they need a fight tonight. He's not running and there's nowhere to hide. MVP and Bobby Lashley comes in. MVP says they like Swerve and tried to recruit him because of his unrealized potential, and one of the things they wanted to teach him is that there's strength in numbers, and he's gonna learn tonight, and Shelton Benjamin attacks Strickland from the behind and throws him to the floor. Lashley attacks and throws Swerve into the barricade, rising knees, clubbing blow, into the barricade again. Into the ring, MVP holds Nana back as Bob hits a spinebuster on Strickland before putting him in the hurt lock, and they throw Nana to the floor and he bounces off the steps. Jamie Hayter is interviewed backstage, and she says she did what she said she was going to do and she'll continue to right the wrongs, and for the right now, she's thinking she's coming after one thing, and we get a video package of Julia Hart waking up in a cold sweat with a bloody patch over her heart. She answers the phone and Brody King tells her to wake up, but the line is cut and she goes in the bathroom to wash her face and the lights go red and there's more blood, and opens louvered closet doors and takes a bow and arrows and her black hat. In the main event of the show, we saw AEW World Tag Team Championship qualifying match between FTR versus Kings of the Black Throne, and the result of this match was Kings of the Black Throne won the match by submission with a sleeper hold from Brody King on Dax Harwood, qualifying for the AEW World Tag Team Championship match at Full Gear. Post-match, both teams shared a nice gesture, and the show goes off the air. Let me know in the comments section about this week's Dynamite show, and thanks for watching the video.